Now, after a number of years of anemic growth, we are seeing a turnaround for energy companies. Exxon, Shell, Repsol, all posting better than expected quarterly earnings. Does that mean, though, we're seeing meaningful growth in the sector? Jonathan Barratt is Managing Director of Commodity Broking Services live down in Sydney. Does it, John?
Look, I think it does. I mean, we're getting some more encouraging signs that a lot of these companies are returning good profits, and they will continue to return good profits as long as oil continues to track higher. Remember, oil this year is up really pretty much 30%. And those comments from Premier Wan just last week concerning the looseness of China's monetary policy Q3 and Q4, I think will add weight to some of these commodity markets, which should in turn add weight to expected profit returns for a lot of our energy companies.
John, having said that, though, the disaster in the Gulf of Mexico, that's, no pun intended, is going to muddy the waters for the outlook going forward for a lot of these oil majors because of the increased burden, potentially, of regulation. How much of a negative impact do you think that's going to be in the future?
Look, I think it will remain out there, and it will remain a problem that needs to be solved. We still don't know the extent as to the damage, and I think that's one of the key concerns. We do know that the slick is getting smaller and smaller by natural means. It's just actually burning off. So it is a concern that we don't know, we can't quantify, but going forward it'll be something that I think a lot of these energy companies will actually look to try and position themselves or create reserves just in case something like this happened. But more so, it will increase the standards, and I think that to me is probably one of the only positive things that has actually come out, that our standards for deep well drilling or deep water drilling will have to be tightened up.
Jono, some are already speculating that down the track this means we might even be facing a situation of peak oil fairly quickly once the demand story shores up again. If we want to get ahead of the game, is that in fact a fairly clear bet? Go long oil.
Well, the funny thing with oil at the moment, Karen, is it's just been going sideways for a very long time. In fact, the supply and demand on the market has been very, very steady, and that's caused a market that is ripe for a move. Now, a lot of the data to date we've seen is basically saying that we're getting oversupply. OPEC increasing their daily production. You know, key numbers out of the States saying the builds will continue. All this is indicating to us that the price should be going down. But in retrospect, it's steady, and we're having another look at US $80 a barrel.
Jono, if you look at the Breakfast Club of commodity markets, they're at multi-month highs, coffee, sugar and wheat. Is there more upside for these markets?
Look, at the moment, you've got to take it purely on the back of what's happening with the weather, okay? Wheat's something we've been talking about for quite some time, and that is a story which continues to develop as the temperature, particularly in Russia and Europe, remain very high, because we can see a drop-off in production, and as a result of that, the wheat price can continue to trade higher. That will continue to occur. Weather in India, monsoonal rains, all these are starting to be key factors that people are focusing on at the moment. And you can see that these markets continue to go to highs. As we mentioned with wheat, wheat's up this last month, up 35%. The largest single move we had similar to this was back in 1973. So focus will gravitate to these markets at the moment, and you'll probably see that given corrections, given profits, the underlying theme will remain relatively strong for them.
Okay, Jono, we're going to squeeze in a quick break and we'll come back to you. Go check out that fog for us. Jonathan Barratt staying with us.